US President Trump is upending the global trade system with a slew of tariffs ranging from a baseline of 10% to as high as 50%. Trump has signed an executive order on the rates, which go into effect in 7 days. Some of the highest tariffs are on Canada, which is now at 35%. Brazil is even bigger at 50%. Mexico, the US's biggest trading partner, has been given a 90-day reprieve. Now, goods imported from India into the United States will face 25% duties after talks to hammer out a mini trade deal failed, but the pain could be far worse. India is also expected to face additional penalties for oil it buys from Russia. No word yet, though, on how much those penalties will be. Meanwhile, preliminary deals with the EU, Britain, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, and others have meant that they face tariffs of between 10 to 20%.
So it's a good deal. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Was tough negotiations. I knew it at the beginning, and it was indeed very tough, but we came to good conclusions for both sides.
Let's take a closer look at the deal making with Trump and the fallout. Also, what's next for countries hoping to strike a deal like India? We're joined by William Lee. William is chief economist at the Milken Institute. William, thank you for your time here on this Friday morning. Let's start by talking about those that managed to get that initial deal. On the one hand, it would be tempting to say that they have clarity now, but if we look at the EU, for example, it's seen as heavily tilted in favor of the US, French President Macron calling it a dark day. Why couldn't the EU and other countries have perhaps fought harder?
Well, I believe a lot of the countries have their own national interests in mind, and they don't really want to open up their markets to foreign competition. So you find that a lot of countries don't want to make investments in the United States and partner with the U.S., as President Trump has requested. But I think the overall negotiations done by President von der Leyen has taken the interests of the entire EU in mind, and they find and they agree with other countries that it's much better to partner with the U.S., meaning invest in the U.S., open up their markets to U.S. firms, and integrate more with the world economy than it is to support national champions and stay with a high level of non-tariff barriers. So I think the diversity of views out there is one that still has to be reconciled. But overall, all of the deals that have been made so far are ones that where people or countries where they see the benefits of coming into the U.S. market and partnering with the U.S. as overriding benefits to being isolationists.
William, how do you see the US's attempts at a bilateral deal with India playing out? New Delhi was one of the first to start negotiating, and a mini trade deal has really proved to be elusive. What do you make of New Delhi playing hardball and really not giving into Trump's demands?
I believe that's a sad story because at the beginning of this year, when President Trump met with President Modi and the Vice President Vance was there with his family, the attitude toward India was so positive. India could have asked for almost anything and gotten quite a lot of concessions. But right now, because India has chosen to, as I said earlier, not partner with the U.S. and not open up its markets for U.S. firms, and has insisted on trading in the energy markets with Russia as extensively as it has, and continue to promote the BRICS agenda, which is one of trying to at least reduce the role of the dollar in international transactions. These last several months have, I think, pushed India away from the very favorable position that it had at the beginning of this year.
Indeed, that's all we have time for here. Thank you very much, William, for joining us here. And of course, India maintaining its position that it's looking at food security and other reasons why it continues to keep its sectors like agriculture protected.